Yeah.
Brother-in-law was like, well, could you do the paperwork right now?
Or maybe they never even did the paperwork, right? Maybe
Yeah.
something happened and they never even did anything.
And I was like, no, I have 4 classes to teach right now, so.
Yeah,
So just for all the new people, there's agents here that will help you write up the contracts.
yep, that'll help you with the paperwork and you can still get paid.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
I'll get it over to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just call one of the agents. You
Yeah,
don't have to go.
Okay.
yeah,
If you don't.
yep. And you can just shoot a text and then like, hey, I have 5 minutes to talk at this time and we can figure something else out, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to lose a deal because you're too busy.
Okay.
I had a new agent, recently, lose a deal because he went hunting and it was the same thing. Like, don't just let it go because you are too busy. Like, call me, call anyone in the office and we're gonna help you.
That's why I
Get it
did this
done.
class, because I know, I'm like, I don't know anyone, like, I know everyone in education.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
but not
yeah.
this space.
I love it. I love it. Well, we have Jenny and Dalton teaching tonight, so I'm gonna ask you guys some questions.
Let's go.
Okay, you're teaching first, right, Jen?
Yeah, I'm excited.
I know you are. I'm
Yeah.
excited for you. So, Jenny, how long have you been in real estate?
15 years.
What is the scariest transaction you've ever done?
Well,
Um,
nothing scary about real estate.
not at all. I think there's a couple actually.
You could just share one. We don't need to scare them
The
to
good
death.
thing- no, but the thing is, don't happen very often. In 15 years, I've probably had like 3 deals that I'm like, I never want to do this again. I think one of them was where an investor came and knocked on one of my friend's doors and they gave her this cash offer and she wanted me to help her buy this other home. Sure, I'm happy to help. But please see that offer so I know how to make them work together. And the offer was terrifying. It locked her in,
Totally taking advantage of her. Mhm.
locked her in for years. And then it says the cash offer, so it's quick to close. So 30 days quick.
Isn't quick to close, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
That is
it's
not quick to
terrible.
close.
But then it was also, he was doing it in pursuit of funds. There were so many things illegal about the contract that Christy Vale uses it to teach about the state, because it was so bad.
Christy Bell is an agent at our office that has been in real estate for a really long time, and she is on Utah Association of Realtors board.
was the
Right.
president.
She was the president, yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my mentors for sure. She's the reason. But, it was such a bad transaction. She was angry with me because
You're the neighbor. Was it?
no, my client,
Your
my friend
client.
was angry with me because how dare I make this cash offer fall apart? And it was so bad that Sean told me, cancel a contract with her. Do not engage, do not engage. But it was all out of, and here's the thing that I did that I will never do again. Because I knew that she was a struggling teacher. I cut my commission to help her. I will never.
Oh
do
my
that.
gosh, when you cut your commission, don't transactions get harder?
Oh,
Don't you guys think that? I watched that happen. I've watched that happen in my real life. Like,
It
Yeah.
was-
You get super demanding.
yeah, they,
So that was my scariest one, just because, here she was threatening to take me to court.
and she was your friend.
She was my friend, she's no longer my friend. So
Yeah.
that was the scariest one.
So don't talk to any of your friends about real estate.
It's just, the key is to always have record of,
Jenny protected her friend though. You
I
were a
did.
better friend. You protected her.
I did, and from what I hear, she has great remorse and she hopes to see me again. I'm like, that's okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's worth that, so if it makes you sleepless nights, which they will, sometimes you'll have tears. Do not ever let that out on your clients. That's what coworkers are for.
Yeah, that's why we drink a lot. Just kidding. So, what is your favorite way to lead generate?
Friends, I like to play and, I go out and socialize a lot and I interact with people and business has just kept coming.
Yeah.
And the intention always is friendship first.
I
And
love
so I
it.
never go, to these events or these activities looking for something in return. Looking for friendship. And usually, your job comes up in there somewhere and they simply start asking you questions and that's how the trust starts.
Yeah, and I was talking with the agent today and we were talking about how this becomes a lifestyle. Like once you start to get out there and you're making your phone calls and you're creating your relationships with people or you're strengthening your relationships with people you already know, you're gonna start to get invited to a lot more stuff. And it's exhausting, but if you can go to that stuff, it's just another networking event with your SOI. So that's my favorite way too, is networking. Hey Dalton, how long have you been in real estate?
Strapped up year number 4, starting year number 5.
Love it, love it. You had a killer year 4.
I did have.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Okay, what was your funnest transaction you've ever done? Aren't they all fun, Dalton?
They're all exciting.
Fun.
You've got to have a divorce one.
I mean, I had a relatively.
I mean
full-
the real fun, not like a,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't mean that like facetious.
No, for real. A cash buyer in a multi-7-figure price point, kind of come out of the woodwork. And I think we talked like the first week of October and we had 2 rounds of like 7 or 8 homes. So I saw 15 or 16 homes, which was kind of fun because it was all over.
Because they were all
County. And
massive.
they were all, yeah.
Homes,
big
yeah.
mansions, right? Then I go home to my 1980 split level, I'm like, and then,
You have a cool deck. though.
and then close it out, yeah. And then close it out, and it was just fun to see. It's always fun to go see, the houses that you just don't spend any time. That was pretty fun,
Yeah.
and cash
I love
buyers
it.
were.
And you closed him.
Closed them, yeah.
Nice. So that commission was probably pretty fun too.
Yep, helped make for a big year for it, yeah.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Everybody's level of expensive and, not expensive, nice and not nice, it's all different.
So
So
relative, yeah.
It's all relative, so make sure that you keep that in mind when you take people out.
And remember that whatever your opinion of the house is, does not matter at all.
People buy houses I would never buy all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Well, and that's one, so we talked about limiting beliefs yesterday too, and one of the limiting beliefs is that you can't sell luxury, you can't buy luxury homes.
Correct.
If you get the lingo down, it's the same, whether it's a $400,000 house or a $2 million house.
Tell me about that cash buyer then. So was he just a normal person? Was
Yeah.
like, was there intimidation there? Because people, like Jason's right, people are really intimidated to move up price ranges.
Yeah, so. Well, they've gotten to the point of building client avatars or anything like that, but I don't do.
One of my favorite classes I teach, though,
I
is
don't,
building your.
I don't do, I don't have interest, I don't care how much money is involved, I don't have interest in working with what you would brand as a snobby individual, right?
And you can find snobby individuals in every price range.
100%, 100%. And so, yeah, what was the question, where did we start?
Were they
Oh, where did this
different
person
than?
come from? So I mean,
Well, did they
this,
just
this,
feel
this was
different?
this was a family member. I helped them sell their home 3 or 4 years ago. When they moved away, they made some big career moves, and they came back and, you know, they know a dozen agents because they used to work in the industry on the lending side, and so, yeah, for them to call me up was a nice pat on the back.
For sure.
You learn some things too, you know, working with people, like, are they there to help you, or are they there to yank you around because you're making a lot of money on this deal or whatever? And so you have to really, it's a test to your integrity and your, know your value. We'll talk about that in a minute. And be able to fight for it. And so, yeah, I mean, it was one of those things that wasn't on my radar at all. It wasn't on their radar to move until like sometime in September, they just decided it was gonna happen. And so it was fast. It was SOI.
Have you been
Those-
following up with them?
I do,
Consistently?
yeah,
Yep.
quarterly, yep, yeah. and then you-
Weird, the
events.
system works, you guys, the models work.
So, yeah. Talk to everybody, have conversations, build network, all that sort of stuff, because you don't know where it's coming from. You're just starting year 5. I've had 4 referral calls. I've sent 4 referral clients this month that I didn't know were coming. And to give you an idea, I don't know that maybe I had 4 referrals total in the prior 4 years. So like the first 3 years is basically telling everybody in the whole wide world that you're in real estate and you do a good job and stay top of mind, it starts turning around.
And then the momentum, like,
Yeah.
then the train's coming
It
down.
really is. It's like
Yeah,
moving up a hill and then all of a sudden you reach the peak and then, just right there at that top.
yeah,
It's good.
love it, love it. Hey, Jenny, anything you want these guys to know about you and how you run your business? Any tips for them you have in general?
I think one of the biggest things, I remember when it very first started, you hear the things like, just open the phone book and start calling. But what I did is I actually went.
Before the do not call list, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you'll be fine.
What I did
TCB.
is I went to every single person in my phone and the social media, and I tried to match them all up. I looked them up, tried to find their address, all their information. And I would categorize them like, parents from kids' school area, or, I would kind of categorize them. And then, I would do a market study research on their house to practice. And I would call them and tell them, hey, I don't know if you knew, but I have a realtor now, and I'm really excited because I was studying your neighborhood. Would you like to know what your house is worth? And keep in mind, I've never seen it, so this is just a general number, and they're really excited about it, and then, and it just kind of went from there. So,
Love it, love that.
Yeah.
Hey, love it. So we'll have you, Jenny's gonna teach connect with your market. So it's yours. Yeah,
Dalton's gonna help me a little bit too.
that's how I teach these, is I just co-teach both classes.
Yes,
Do
I
one
love
and
the
the other.
interaction. So
You guys are gonna co-teach both or no?
Whatever, I'm.
Jenny's like, yes, Dalton's like, I'll do whatever.
You know why? Dalton's a numbers guy. How many are you numbers people? Anyone?
Yeah. Who are our enemies?
Guess what? You don't have to be a genius.
I'm
I'm
the numbers guy.
So, and I'm gonna try to help you guys figure out how to communicate that. So. Okay, so connecting with your market. Try to figure out how to work this thing.
Yeah, and it should just click the little,
Oh, this,
the clicker should just be right there. Okay. Yeah, and then you should just kind of click it. This way?
oh, this way,
Yeah, that way.
where it's all worn off.
That, yeah.
Okay. So. If I get on the right page here. Okay, so today we're discovering how to connect to your market. We're gonna go over different factors to research and consider to be prepared before you go in front of your clients. There's so many things that go into knowing the market. In fact, when people share the stats on Facebook and they're like, this many homes sold, this many days on market, do you think your clients, do you think your friends even know what it means? So one of your really, really big points is going to be, how do I explain that to the public and to my friends without boring them to death?
The numbers aren't great. What are you talking about?
Well, they need to.
Numbers
they
tell
need to-
stories.
Right. They need to understand. They need to understand and simplify it. It's like asking your doctor, how in the world do I get this allergy? And he goes into all the science and you're like,
So you just really need to simplify it for the public because their other source is the news and their neighbor and all those people that really don't know anything about the market or a realtor that's not very good. And I love those ones that scare the crap out of everyone because they're listening to the wrong source anyway. So we are going to dive into what does it take to know the market. Ugh. Okay. By the end of today, we're gonna explore various factors on to know your current market information, your business focus, and your strategy. We're gonna analyze the current real estate market to build your expertise. We're gonna utilize Keller Williams technology, social media to connect with clients and grow your business. Okay. So from a quote from the MREA, I don't know.
Do you guys know what the MREA is?
State, millionaire.
Yep.
Millionaire real estate.
Yeah, so it's a book.
Yep.
That Gary Keller wrote.
Yeah, so here we are. Here's the truth. If it has been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it has been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how it can be possible in your market. It's the same thing in sports when, you know, I don't know much about sports, but somebody does like a record breaking race and they're like, that's impossible. But it is, because that guy just did it. And then pretty soon you have all these people breaking the record. Now, your record's gonna be different than somebody else's. One thing that I could not stress to you enough, do not measure yourself with other people, with other realtors. Do not do that to yourself. There are people that seem like they're just making a grundle in real estate, and some people are. But for the most part, it's different. It's what do you need? What do you want? What are you doing this for? Do not measure yourself against me or Dalton. Because my bar changes. It keeps changing. So, and what I want out of real estate also changes. So do not measure yourself with other people. Just find people that you know and trust. Allison, all of us, you can come ask anyone for help and you just stand with them and you run forward. What does connecting to the market mean to you? Anybody know what that means? What is the market?
Housing market?
Do you know what we mean by when we say connect to the market?
Median pricing of houses and
Why do you think
how they
that's
get that, how they get those prices.
correct? Why do you think that's important?
Each market's unique with trends and price points and inventory.
Correct? Size of home, neighborhood, all that stuff, all of it comes into play. So when you share the market, it can be different for somebody who lives in a condo versus somebody who lives in a mansion, somebody who lives in Eden, somebody who lives in Roy, Salt Lake, Brigham City. They're all different. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we want you to become real estate expert and know all that the market is becoming a real estate expert is all about knowing your market and connecting with the market in different ways. Generally speaking, you can know the factors on a micro level and a macro level of each neighborhood in each area. At a macro level, you'll know what's going on in the city or a big metro area that you live in. On a micro level, you're going to know more about your neighborhood, maybe style of homes, different things like that. That's kind of honestly where it gets really fun. I've noticed there's a few agents that, and I wish I would have harnessed this a little better, but I freaking love mid-century modern. I would rather live that in new build anything. And, or if you go downtown Salt Lake, they're experts in those condos. You're probably not gonna hire someone, maybe me, I'll do it. But some people really love those condos and the amenities and everything they offer, and they can sell you on every viewpoint this condo community versus this one's walkable to all the shopping, this one's got your own private patio, you know, all these different things. So it's whatever. Honestly, it's whatever you're into and what makes you happy too. You want to know all the markets, but you don't have to be an expert at everything.
And remember, markets are often associated with numbers, but it's not just numbers, right?
It's not just numbers.
Like that downtown condo, I've got one of those coming up here real shortly, and I'm happy to dive headlong into that because I don't spend a ton of time downtown. You know, I can work the numbers, like I can list anything anywhere confidently, generally, from a number standpoint.
Yep.
But when you're gonna sell a, you know, 1 bed, 1 bath, 500 square foot, you know, condo near the Delta Center, you gotta be able to talk that market because that's your buyer profile on that particular listing is gonna be somebody who's gonna care about the deli and the bike shop and the park and all that sort of stuff, which is as much about knowing the market
The
as
walkability.
anything else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That market is the neighborhood.
Yes, exactly, yes,
So
right.
Someone might say like, I just see a lot of land and they could be like,
Market is a
west or
lifestyle.
north or east or south, but those
Right.
people want to be in that neighborhood specifically.
Yeah,
And then you have to know, this is the gym.
and that's
whatever.
the micro.
This is the bus stop, whatever.
Yep.
That's
Parking.
when it gets fun though, because then you can take them, you're like, hey, for the first day, we're gonna go explore.
That's where somebody like Jenny's gonna beat pants off of me, because she's more sensory and stylish, yeah,
Oh,
much
thank
more, absolutely. And I'm more just
These
numbers and trends.
Yeah,
Right.
both are important.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was like.
I have some,
helping.
we each have some of that, but if we have a strength or if our scales tipped one way, more sensory and stylish and more just numbers and strategies.
Yeah, both are really, really
Yep.
important. What kind of markets do you already know about?
Oh, my
Your-
neighborhood,
Yours?
yeah. The cheap old houses in Ogden.
Oh, not so
Where I
cheap
live.
anymore.
That's a good point. It's fantastic for
Yeah.
me because the equity that exists that I didn't really earn
Mhm.
or pay into. I guess everybody did, you know, but I was really shocked.
It's really great. So are you a homeowner already?
Yeah,
Aren't you happy you bought?
I am. It's like it's crazy.
Here's the thing, that never changes. You're never going to regret that. I have clients that, you know, it's like, oh, I'm never going to pay this much for that house. Oh, and then pretty soon, you know, rates were super low and then he's like, I'm never going over asking blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Now he's gonna pay double anyway, because now those houses are not affordable for him anymore. And the interest rates are twice as high. He could afford it, but he went from a beautiful 3,500 square foot home to a condo. Because he waited. But it's never too late. That's the thing, you gotta start somewhere. And so your job as a realtor is to educate them and what those steps look like. They might not be able to find their dream home right from the beginning, but they need to start somewhere. Or they're gonna lose in the end, they really will. To be a real estate expert, you must understand the market in the moment. You see markets change constantly and sometimes rapidly, and it requires you to pay attention, read the signs, and truly understand your market. A perfect example of this, you'll probably remember 2 years ago. We went from 3.5% interest rate, around there somewhere, to 7.5 or 8, like in 3 months. It was shocking. I have never seen it go that drastic in 15 years, and I was pissed. To say the least, I was pissed because, in my opinion, they should have, when the stampede was going, they should have started jacking it a little bit then, just because they knew they were gonna have to. But instead, they put everyone in shock. And, so you gotta be in the moment, you've got to know. So many realtors ducked out, quit, and got scared during that time. Does anybody know Jared James? I freaking love him. Do you guys know Jared James? Follow him on Instagram.
Social media, yeah.
Yeah, he's great. I want to find this screenshot. These are the stats. This is another example of stat, okay? It's okay to harness.
I already know where you're going.
Yeah. Okay, let me find it. Cause I took a screenshot of. Okay, 74% of realtors sold 0 homes in 2024. 74%. So if you feel hard on yourself because you're new, don't, because 74% of them didn't even try. They went to, the poor, woe is me, I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard. I went 4 months with no income and that hurt. That never feels good. It was brutal. 2% sold in between 11 and 20 homes last year. And I have watched my income decline the last 2 years, but guess what? I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm not homeless. I can support myself. And 0.14% sold 45 homes or more. So next time you measure yourself, don't measure yourself with somebody, the numbers and things like that. You need to measure yourself with the people that are positive and excited about being in this industry. Because that's how you improve constantly. Got to keep your mind right and everything like that. So that's another example of stats. A lot of people have no idea.
Who was that guy you said, Jared what?
Jared James, he's freaking awesome.
J.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite. So. Okay. We are going to look at three types of market: buyer's market, the balanced market, and the seller's market. Do you guys know the difference in what defines a buyer's market, seller's market, and a balanced market? No, it does say. That's terrible. That's very genius.
It's smoked.
Let me guess.
I'm gonna take a stab at it.
I'm not sure, but maybe a buyer's market has more than 7 months of inventory, something like that, and the balance market, maybe 5 to 7 months.
There you go.
The seller's market's less than 5 months of inventory.
Yeah, Dalton,
I'm curious, what do you think of that?
I think it is high for Utah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a buyer's market right now. We don't have 7 months of it.
No, if we had 7 months of inventory, I'd be stabbing.
I'd
my
adjust that
myself.
4 to 6 for Utah. And we only have buyer's markets in certain areas. There's still places where you're
Yeah.
less than half days on market.
So
That's
what
what's
would you consider? I don't think we're a full-on buyer's market. I think we're balanced.
Yeah.
We're balanced, and it also depends on the size of house and the condition. Now you can finally ask for closing costs. Now you can finally ask for repairs. It's really nice.
And you can look at the house more than once.
Yeah, unless it's fabulous already, then you better hustle. So it's still a seller's market in the way that if this house is mint condition and it's priced right, you better jump on it and be ready. So would you say, Dalton, what's the correct number? Would you say that?
I'd go, 4 to 7 months is your balance.
4 to
Sorry,
7
4 to 6. 4 to 6 is what I would call balance.
is the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
less
so
than that would
maybe
be
one
seller
less-
and more than that would be buyer.
Yeah, right. And a seller's market is less than 5, but I think the seller's market is more 2 months.
Yeah, less than 4.
Yeah, that's definitely what I think as well. So these numbers are based on the country as a whole. I do think that, post-COVID did change that, caused the great migration, shall we call it. It's still happening. No doubt these fires in California are gonna affect things. I would leave. I'm not. I'd be like, so we're on fire 90% of the time. In the winter, I'm gonna leave.
And now it's destroyed.
Yeah, but California is big and, but the thing is a lot of people assume we have California buyers. I had 2. They were from all over the place. I have several friends from Wisconsin. So, it's just really out of control. I'm rambling. So the inventory is the number of properties for sale within the market. What is the inventory of your market?
63 something.
was over 9,000.
Is that inventory?
Or
Is that- Or is
93,
that
sorry,
days on market?
Is that inventory or is that days on market?
That was,
Inventory
we
for,
looked yesterday.
And
Well,
that was,
9,000.
that was for Utah,
Sorry.
that's not necessarily for your market.
That's for-
Yeah, I think originally somebody was shouting out 60 something, that's our days on market, right? And then. The inventory for your market, depends on what your market is, but yes, inventory in the state according to the URE is somewhere about 9,300
oh, I thought you were saying 93 and I'm like, good lord.
93, sorry.
right now. 93 homes.
So I thought,
I am
I own like 10% of that market right now. Okay, as mentioned, the inventory is a primary factor of the determining what kind of market you're in. The inventory can help indicate the health and robustness of the market. How do you find this information?
The internet.
No,
I'll take that, where on the internet?
close. Where?
MLS.
Good.
Ken is actually teaching an MLS class on Friday at 9:30 in the morning. He's our compliance broker. And it will be on Zoom and in person about how to like go over some stats and stuff on the MLS. and use
You
it. And
you definitely should, because like, once you figure out some things, there is some easy routes. Dalton loves numbers. Go
You
for it.
can find the inventory numbers on any snap anywhere. Has anybody been on URE and played with the search a little bit, right? You can select an area. Okay, so if you take your actives plus your under contracts plus your backups, add those all together and divide them by the number of homes sold. Do this by number of sold in the last 30 days. That number, I apologize for my handwriting, it doesn't get better. That number right there is called an absorption report, and you can use this to scale. You can pull inventory for any nook, cranny, neighborhood, zip code, area, whatever, by simply just doing that.
How do you simplify that for a seller? When you're.
You're talking to your seller and you say, hey, seller, our absorption report's bringing us up to about a 3.2 right now. And they're gonna say, what the hell does that mean? You say, what that means is that if no other homes come on market, we have 3.2 months worth of inventory before we run out of homes. Okay, so that 3.2 is relative to what we were just talking about here in terms of how many months of inventory do we have to know whether or not we're in a seller's market. So what that extrapolates into is if we're at 3.2, that's a seller's market, so we can probably be a little more aggressive with pricing. We'll also take a look at obviously competition, right? Comps, but generally speaking, there's gonna be more demand than there are homes. And that's not to be confused with, it'll take 3.2 months to sell your home because days on market is another metric.
Yeah, so go ahead.
So that basically gives you like a picture of a month, Is that
It
the idea?
breaks inventory down into months.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So it helps.
So
your
think of it this way,
seller.
how many homes are selling per month? And active, under contract and backup status homes are all technically on market. These are still available, though these ones are more likely to sell in the next 30 days than that, right? But
Right.
actives and how many are selling, what rate are we selling every 30? How many homes are we selling every 30 days? So
So-
to give it a number, to make it
Right.
easy, let's say those all add up to 900. And this is, oh, you're gonna make me do math in front of,
Divided with.
let's call it 300, and so therefore we'd have 3 months. Does that make sense?
Like, sorry,
Yep.
just because I can't understand your writing. So it's
Yes,
active, under contract, backup.
Yep.
And then you take the total of that and then divide it
divide it.
by the
by the
number
number
of
of sold.
sold. Okay.
Yes,
The MLS does the math for you though. He's just explaining how it's done.
yes.
right?
I'm not sure if the MLS will do the math for you if you want, it depends on how drilled down you wanna get.
Sure.
For every listing I go to, I typically pull an area around that listing, so that way we know, the northwest corner of South Jordan, what it's really doing, because it's gonna be different than even the west corner of Kearns. Who knows that
Yeah.
geography, is that what the butts up against, right? And so what kind of changes? Right, I think Kearns, West Valley City, one of the two.
Yeah.
Swear, right?
And that's like an average amount of time takes to sell a house, basically is the
No,
absorption rate,
that's the amount,
No, that's
remember,
days on market.
we're talking, days on market is how long,
right?
absorption rate is how much? How much inventory do we have?
How many homes sold?
So
it's-
that,
So
Oh,
absorption rate is
okay.
basically means inventory.
and the reason it matters, let's play a quick game. If there's only 3 homes to sell. And there's 2,800 people who wanna buy it, what does that mean in terms of the competition for those 3 homes? It's way high,
Yeah.
right? And so then inversely, and I'm using extremes here, right? So 2,800 homes and only 3 buyers, what are those sellers gonna have to do? They're gonna have to compete to get their home sold.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that's why inventory matters. It helps gauge us, who's got the leverage in the discussion.
It helps the seller be mentally prepared too, that it's not gonna take 2 weeks, it's gonna probably take a couple of months, and
Back to days on market.
yes, and it's kind of funny, because if you sit down, you spit out those numbers and this and that. Regardless if the person understands or not, they're gonna know that you know what you're talking about, which is the reason why,
Yeah.
why.
So, yeah, absorption rate, yeah.
So
Absorption
the
rate.
lower, like, months of inventory, the faster the house is gonna sell, basically, right?
It's not I mean.
In like
not
super
that.
simplified
Po-
terms.
I would say what you said is technically correct, but it's still conflating the two things. We have days on market, which is our indicator of how fast we expect the average home to sell.
Right.
And then we have
Inventory.
absorption reports and or inventory, which is what kind of market are we in? Seller
Right,
friendly,
but they like
balance.
totally like coincide with each other.
There is a
right?
relationship there.
Yeah.
correct. Albeit a non-linear one.
But it's good to know, because you could have 10 homes and they're sitting on market for 100 days. Or, or you could have 500 homes and they're sitting on the market for 100 days. So knowing that makes the difference, and that's where this absorption rate comes into play, because you're like, well, there's still tons of buyers, it's not the homes aren't selling. This is how much inventory we have to go around to this number of people. So that's the difference in between that and days on market. Okay, so you have enough cereal for everyone, and it's not that nobody likes Cheerios. Okay, makes sense. Okay, sorry, that's kind of how my brain works. So, okay. Inventory, what is inventory in your market? What is the average number of days a home stays on the market? What is the average price point home that your market sells for? And based on your inventory, what type of real estate market are you in? A buyer, sellers, or balance? And we kind of went over that. So what did we miss? Anything? I think the price per home. Does anybody know the average price per home for Utah? If we just took everyone as a whole? I knew you would, Dalton.
I think it's 400, 500 or something, Oh, I thought it was like in the 560.
Higher?
Really? Higher than
Mid-sixties.
Higher than, yeah,
I was 660 something.
665 or something like that. That's the average price home in
That's like for
Utah
the
as a
whole state
whole.
though, right?
As a whole.
That's
Yes,
the state, so that's gonna include your Park Cities.
Yeah.
Your Alpines, I mean, honestly, Salt Lake County, the whole bench.
who wants to pull up Weaver State? Not Weaver State, who
Weaver
wants to
County.
pull up Weaver County and Davis County? And see. Is anyone? Bueller?
I might need some time to do it.
Okay, we don't have to do it right away, but I definitely think that's important for you guys to look at that and see that on your own instead of just looking at the board here. If you want to pull up the MLS and log in, it might help you with this, and definitely come to Ken's class. There's gonna be tools on there that can help you automatically do it. For example, does anybody use ListTrack for listing? I freaking love that because it makes me look smart.
Let's track.
ListTrack.
It's connected right to the.
One of the things you
MLS.
get with your MLS
Yep.
membership.
So as soon as you get a listing, you can you go into ListTrack. It's one of the icons there on the left-hand side. You'll see your listing in there. You'll put your client's email and information in there and yours in there. And it will send them a weekly update. How many clicked on their house, how many marked it as favorite. And so the reason why this thing is key, because if you had a conversation you need to have with your client about why nobody's showing it, It's not due to your beautiful pictures, it's due to the fact that the price wrong. So that kind of thing being sent to them every week is going to help that conversation you have with them. It's gonna be a lot easier.
Oh, so about the market statistics, you're saying the average sold price?
Uh-huh.
How big of a window, should I just do the last 30 days
Yeah, sure.
or? Okay. It says 486,000
In Weaver
for
County,
Weaver County.
I feel like that's low.
Weaver County's cheap. It's a good place to buy right now.
Well, you know what?
live in Weaver?
I do,
And Davis is 586,
586. So
587.
part of that could be, if you go within 30 days, you're not accounting for, Eden takes 120 days, 150 days on market. So maybe if we opened it up to 6 months, that would make more sense. That's my password.
Oh, you're totally right, though. Wait. I get up
Did it bring it up
a little bit.
a little bit?
Now it's, let's see, it said Davis is 577 and then Weaver was 514.
So it helped us about 75 grand. Yeah, so if you were going, that's one of the reasons why, you know, if you're zeroing in on a house that's like 2,000 square feet or versus a house that's up in the valley and, you know, it's like a 7,000 square foot home, you better get a longer listing agreement, make it for a year.
And do you think it's better to talk about the average or the median or whichever one's higher?
Dalton,
Do you think it makes a difference talking about the average or the median, or is it whichever one's higher sounds better?
I think
Or,
I'll pick the one that sells best. It depends on the situation, and honestly, when possible, I try and get both.
cool.
what is the difference between the two?
Well, the
So,
average,
so an average will be pulled by, outliers. So.
Trailer homes. and
If you're looking,
multi-family
right,
Oh.
yeah, exactly. If you're looking in a particular area and the average, the median price point home is, $453,000. But somebody sells, there happens to be a couple of bigger homes in that area and they, two of them sell in that time range you're pulling, it's gonna pull your average up to 6s, 7s, something like that.
Oh.
Won't accurately represent. So the idea behind median is just the middle number on a series of numbers.
Okay,
And so that's more likely to give you something that is trustworthy, but only, I would argue, with the data set. Same with averages, and of course, averages have outliers.
mhm. Okay, that makes sense, because
Who's
they're,
having math flashbacks? Yeah.
you know, the teachers that.
I hated math in high school, ironically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Teachers, they don't grade you fairly, like everyone's gonna get this, but only a certain number get A's.
The old curve, the
So
old
you
curve.
have a
Oh.
Whole room full of brilliant people, I bet only 2 of you are gonna get A's. That's that. I hated teachers that graded like that. I never got it. Okay, so, okay, so interest rates, definitely come into play big time. Make contacts with lenders in your area so that you can stay up to date on your market and answer questions to any of questions that your clients may have for you about the process. These are always changing. One of my biggest complaints for the last 2 years, the interest rate is not only high, it's very bipolar,
Volatile.
volatile, that's a better word. But it's like you would be at 5.5, and then all of a sudden you're at 6.5 in a day. And so that I hope really does chill out this next year. Just give us some consistency so that we can give our clients some real guidance and solutions there for this situation. It's also good to stay in touch with your lenders because there are different programs that they may offer. I have a lender that they have basically a first-time home buyer. They'll throw down 15 grand for your client to help them with their down payment that they don't have to pay back until they sell. And it's not, and then Ogden City has their grant too. That money's limited, but there's all kinds of things. You need to go with a lender that's gonna have the best communication, gonna give your client the best deal, I always have 2 or 3 for them to choose from. So, on top of that, a little tidbit. You guys know the difference in between a mortgage lender and a mortgage broker?
Think so.
You think so? Tell me.
The broker talks to lots of lenders.
No.
They don't lend their own money, they lend their broker.
No.
All
It's,
right,
it's
then I don't know.
crazy. Well, because it's so different than like, cause in real estate, the broker is Sean, right? It's the person that helps lead our office. In the lending world, the mortgage broker, they go and broker out your loan. So they find who are we going to sell this loan to, who's gonna give us the best deal. They pay the loan officer. Instead of just a loan officer and not a broker, they get paid by the buyer. So the difference is the closing cost from a broker is lower. Most realtors don't know that. So I always ask for more closing costs. Whatever any lender would ask for, so I can use it for 2-1 buy down or whatever they need to do. I just closed one that I'm closing it tomorrow. I had to use part of it for my commission because they only wanted to give me 2%. I'm worth more than that. So my client understood that. We had a conversation about it before. We worked it into the closing costs. We had plenty to cover it. Plus they have plenty to do their buy down. So know your value. 0.5% makes a huge difference. 1% makes a huge difference. And the general public, they don't really understand that 1% what it does to you, or the 0.5%, because it sounds so little to them. One of them that I closed made a $3,000 difference. It does make a difference. That was only 0.5%. So sorry about that rabbit hole. I wanted to make sure it's not only the interest rate, it's what the lender charges, all of those things. You need to know about those things. You need to trust that lender. Go and interview them. Don't let them wine and dine you. It's a waste of time and you'll have to buy bigger clothes. So, but there's a lot in the office. So if you ask some of the agents that have been around for a while, they'll tell you their favorites and why. And you need to make sure you have somebody that's really, really good in your corner. So economic factors play an important role in you understanding the market. What is the employment/unemployment rate in your market? I don't know.
We have a markup day on Thursday in here from 10 to 11:30 and it's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Sign up for that.
And those are actually really interesting. I'm not a,
recorded too.
Not
This is
generally.
gonna be Johnny's. I don't know if he's gonna record it, but Johnny's our region director
So good.
for Keller Williams, Utah. He's a special guest, Clay. That's fun. And
The one on Friday, is it recorded?
I don't know if Ken records his. I don't know. I think Johnny's will be though.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe. One of the good things is though, because you always get really good material. If you ask for the slides, they'll send them to you and you can change them and turn them into social content and look like a genius. Yeah. Jared shared something too before, the number of buyers. Do you remember that one? I'd have to find, I'll find it while you're teaching and I'll share it with you guys at the end, but he had the number of how many buyers there are out there and all that stuff and gave the stats. It was really actually super good. Let's see, how many workers are entering or exiting the workforce in your market? That's one of the ones that we saw in there too. That's important to know. We have a ton of people entering the market, even though like the baby boomers are kind of stepping down. Gen X, my generation, we're super tiny and insignificant, but we created Facebook and the internet and
Okay, Al Gore.
kill the radio star, that kind of thing. But the next generation is Gen X. I mean, who is it?
The us millennials.
The millennials. Yeah.
Yeah,
Freaking
and
huge.
we're bigger than the baby boomers.
Mhm.
So,
better.
yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Other economic factors to consider,
That
this
is
is
a
not in
very
any,
millennial thing to say.
this is not, this This is not in any way political, it's just matter of fact. Right now, we're taking a look at what, yeah, I mean, potentially we're gonna start using tariffs as a more common factor in our, foreign policy, right? And, you know, if we import most of the wood that we use to build homes, will that have an effect on housing prices and, you know, supplies and all that sort of stuff, right? Not, again, not political, things to think about that could impact the world in which we work and the clients whom we serve. Also, I want you all to look at me right now and repeat after me.
Okay,
The Federal Reserve rate has no impact on mortgage rates. Okay, the number one thing your clients, and I'm gonna say 85 to 90% of real estate agents don't understand is when the Fed cuts rates, it has absolutely no impact. This much on mortgage rates.
They're two
Now, that
different
being
things.
said, what economic indicator in the securities, stocks, treasuries type of thing can you watch? Anybody want to give it a shot?
T-bills.
T-bills, which one?
That I can't remember.
That's okay. I'm impressed that
I
anybody
am
knew it. Well
impressed,
done.
'cause I don't know what that is.
All of the points to you. The 10-year treasury note is the closest thing, treasury bill is the thing to watch. Okay? That is the only economic, like, yeah. Other things can impact our industry for sure, but way too many people associate, like, when they announced that they were gonna chop rates by 1/4% or a full 0.5%, and everybody's like, finally, mortgage rates are coming down, and then they're like, why didn't mortgage rates come down? And we do this every time they drop.
That's the
Right.
rate they charge the banks to
That-
borrow from
to
them.
lend
Yeah,
money.
There's a lot to it.
Right, correct. So anyway, continue.
Right,
And we're. Yeah, 15 minutes?
sweet, I can wrap this up real
Okay.
quick. Okay, so one thing, if we talk about, your comment about the tariffs reminded me of this. So Utah, we are our own animal. We have some things that are kind of helping us protect our market. And two of those things, one thing is the Olympics. The second thing is the inlet port. Do you guys know about that or even what that is?
Like the one they're building?
It's going all up and down the Wasatch Front. Do you guys know what the inlet port is?
I guess not. I know they were talking about it in Weaver County, like building one by like Willard Bay,
Yes,
and like
okay,
people were upset. The
right.
animals.
You know what, though?
Water.
We can't stop the growth we've had here. Post-COVID, we were supposed to grow by 1 million or so. Utah as a state, it was supposed to be substantial, and then COVID hit, and it was like, here, grab a couple million more. But the people. The inlet port, so our coast, our country has ports along the coast, right? We are the one on the inside. And so this is going to create quite a few jobs. I forgot the number, but I felt like it was something around 10,000. I'm not sure, but what I do know is because of that and just our economic forecast as a whole and the Olympics coming, they do still expect our homes to increase in price by 9% every year, right around there somewhere. And I'm sure it does depend on the size of your home and where you're located. All those things come into play. But when people are looking for us to have this great crash, it's not gonna happen here. So, they need to, you know, that's kind of your job to give them some reassurance. No, the house they bought 2 years ago isn't going to be worth 100 grand, probably ever. So during the last crash, we only went down 25%. And that was substantial. And some people think it's gonna be even more than that. It's just not gonna.
Well, and we've only, like, a recession doesn't equal a real estate crash, and people think that it does.
And or
It just did.
if
Yeah.
we're crashing here, the rest of the country's in real bad shape.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yes, for sure. So, the last thing is, the neighborhoods, nearby shops and restaurants, nearby health facilities, neighborhood attractions. These are kind of what we were talking about. Downtown Salt Lake and all those different things. If you have a buyer that I want to be close to skiing and I don't want any stinky neighbors by me, you're gonna find them a place in Eden, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Or if they want to be even less social, they're gonna go even further north up by Honeyville or something.
Yeah.
So it just really does depend. What other market factors do you think might be good to investigate?
I'd say schools.
Schools? Okay,
School trends. Primary.
crime rate,
For some people, maybe hospitals for elderly,
that's true.
like sell their homes, like. How far?
Yeah.
hospitals.
It's good to learn, when you go and you meet with a buyer or seller, it's good to ask them a ton of questions. What is your lifestyle like? What are these things? Speaking of like looking at the crime rate, you do not want to look that up for them.
I was gonna ask you about
No.
You don't wanna ever be the source, you wanna be the source of the source.
Yes,
They need to go find that information on their own, so you're not liable.
because what someone else thinks is unsafe and what the next person thinks is unsafe is totally different.
Kinda like you were talking about the houses, it's just all about perspective.
It's all about perspective, 100%. So you never want to get involved there. It can get your butt in a slingshot and it just doesn't feel good.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we have like, so I teach at Ogden High,
Okay,
and there's a couple of neighbors right there that, so like whoever sold them the home, like across from our football stadium, they call the cops every Friday night and,
they're on the.
like, just know that you have little kids. There might be lights every Friday night at football games, and they call the cops I'm not even joking. Like, I did this for, like.
I know you're not joking, and that's the reason, it's that kind of stuff that gets us as an industry labeled as a bunch of hacks and overpaid door openers, because agent didn't do a simple job of saying, hey, look, it's a high school, just so you're aware.
There might be
Right?
parking on the street,
And
so like,
also, to blame the consumer, which you're never supposed to do, they have a responsibility during the little time called due diligence.
right,
Go.
but like, maybe like, yeah, cause we just like,
And you can't fix stupid.
Yeah, they're done.
I know, so like, every time we do student government activities, we have to like go and like hand out flyers, like, just know it's homecoming week and we will be painting the street that we've done for 30 plus years, like.
Yeah, if you don't want to be here, go
I don't know
somewhere
why.
else. Yeah,
It's the real things, and,
Yeah.
and from a consumer, from a client standpoint. You don't wanna be the real estate agent that gets that call and be like, hey, they're playing football at the football stadium across the street. Why didn't you tell me they were gonna do that?
That's a good door knocking opportunity.
There you go.
I heard you gave them.
Yeah.
I live on the bench. I freaking love hearing the games late at night. I love hearing the drums. I'm blocks away and I love it. So am I done?
10 minutes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so build your expertise, become a real estate expert of choice. So it's good to know the whole area in general, but when you deep dive, let's find, the area where you live. Your target's gonna be those teachers, that staff. It really is. So it's key to really dive in deep on those areas and know the neighborhood. I love where I live. I always tout, Ogden, I freaking love this place. Everybody says it's yucky and then they come here to play. Dummies. Yeah, like truly, I do love where I live. So I do dive in deep on Ogden. I do love this area. Davis County's a little farther out of my area, but I do know it well enough. I never try to say, hey, you should live on this block or this block or this one. They need to do their own due diligence and find out what's important to them. I never even point out, hey, this is a busy street. The only time I point something out is if it may impact them on the resale. Just consider being on Harrison might slow down or make the pool of buyers that you have smaller in the future. Okay, cool, that's great. So I just point out things like that. So you build your expertise on a market level. So let's look at 4 steps to start building your expertise right now. Okay, learn the market, learn your clientele, listen to individuals, keep the headlines in context. What does that mean? Let's see.
Like the news?
Yeah,
when it's like,
probably.
you know, it's like, it's the end of the world,
Mhm.
it's the worst time to buy a house.
Yeah.
So, hey, they're lying.
Right, so Dalton actually sends out an awesome newsletter. It's very simple. You can just look at it, you see the numbers and the stats and things like that, and then he has a short little snippet at the bottom. This is what what that means to me, and then he simplifies it for him. So, sending out a newsletter is important. You can also, if you're really savvy with Canva and thing like that, you can take that and repurpose it and turn it into social media content. You don't want to be on social media, there are people that you can pay in the office that will do that for you. If you don't want to be on social media, you're just gonna have to call more people. That's all, and social media is always changing. And so, as you track a bigger market, track your own business as well. You can use Command to track your leads, your appointments, and your transactions. You're able to notice trends as well. These will help you analyze your market and notice any changes that you have in your own business. So in 15 years, I've had to cock and reload, change the way I'm doing things. Have you had to do it yet?
Yeah.
Constantly.
100% of the time.
I came in during the hottest buyer's market in history by a long shot.
Yeah.
And then a year and a half later, rates went up and the chute popped, and it went from hottest buyer's market ever to basically neutral overnight. Yeah, and then no, the market's, my experience has been the market's gonna change at the very least quarterly.
Well, it always.
Or if you should at least be evaluating it quarterly to see what may be changing. Like she said, I send out a weekly update, and that's because it's for two reasons. One, it helps establish me as the expert in my client's eyes, my SOI's eyes, and it also keeps me in front of things in terms of the market changing.
For sure. And one thing, like Dalton he's been doing this 4 years, and like he told you, just drastic market changes from the time he started. Out of 100 people, there's probably maybe 10 people left, and only 2 people that kicked ass. And so I just wanted to point that out, like, he's a coach with Allison in it, and so he'll help give you guys the words and the scripts and things like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna open book if you have questions.
Okay, learn your clientele. Who are the buyers? Who are the sellers? Everybody's got a different group of people that they work with. I've been around for 15 years, and I am, for the first time, I'm on a team. And and I decided to get on a team because I want to only do the parts I enjoy and push off the other things on the team. I have also run a team, so I know the cost of running a team. And I've juggled and I've done things all myself for years, and I'm tired. So me being on a team was key, and it's very, very important. But my whole point in that is I always knew who my people were, right? But my team, the way they function is very different than the way I function. Their people are very different than mine. So we had a client event, we had pancakes with Santa, and they had tons of people, and they're looking at me like, well, at least I felt this way. I'm a loser because I only had 3 families now. But then I'm like, please, let me hold my party, Here comes my 80 people, here you go. Because that's my people. Most of my people don't have children, or their children are grown, or that kind of thing. I don't have a huge pool of young families. So know your people, like dive in and enjoy it. You know, if you enjoy sport or you enjoy a certain hobby or things like that, get in that world. You're in Ogden High. What do you do there?
I teach and I oversee government coach.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Powerlifting.
That too. So, but just being in that world, that's your people. Dig in, be like, yes, I'm also a realtor and I'm awesome. So just being around those people and enjoying yourself in life, the word spreads and they're like, hey, I like you. I think you're gonna do a pretty good job for me. And you gotta show them why. So regardless if I know that person or not, I'm still presenting myself. I still do my listing appointment, my listing presentation, my buyer's presentation. Did it to my sister. Like, hey, you're gonna hire me and I don't want it to be just because I'm your sister. I want you to know why I'm the best choice. And so,
And when they
talk to-
see that, they're less likely to ask for a discount,
yeah.
when they see really.
Okay, so take a grassroots approach. That's what I just talked about. Learn where your sphere gets their information. Okay, your job is not to argue with them. Just approach them carefully, use your intuition. If they're open for a conversation, cool. But if they're looking for an argument, do not engage. They're not your person. Let them be on the slow bus. And be present all the time. Listen to them, listen to their concerns. They are valid. Your job is to hear them, let them be heard, let them know that you feel where they're coming from and help them circle around and be in a better frame of mind when it comes to real estate. Keep the read past the headlines, know your numbers. Okay, don't pay attention to the news. I haven't had the news on my TV in 7 years. I hate it. I hate it because it got into Facebook and then it was like, I'm gonna ruin your life a little bit. I do not like the news. I hardly ever watch it. So, I do, when it comes to real estate and you hear all that barking on social media, I quickly come to one of the market updates. I lean in to the experts here and I'm like, what do you think? How can I convey this to people? Give me some peace of mind so that I can feel secure in what I'm doing and help people be brave and buy a home right now, sell a home right now. They have to, and they need to know they're in good hands. So, we're gonna skip past all that. Utilize resources. Do you use these?
For market data, no.
For market data? So this is
Well,
where
it's just saying like, it's just saying. like,
this command in
Yes,
general.
yeah, I offer the app to every one of my clients, as an op. If they like it, it's super great because I can see their activities,
Mhm.
right? I can see everything that they're liking and and that makes that a little bit easier than if, than sending me links from other apps. And then, of course, obviously that all pops right up into Command, which I do use as my CRM and control center. So that does make it seamless, yeah, for sure.
It's super important to utilize the CRM to its fullest. And the reason I think it is because the day when I'm having a really hard time and I'm feeling really bad about myself, thinking, how come I suck today? I can actually look at my history, see the score, see how many deals I've done. And I'm like, actually, I did pretty well. I did my best. Right? So keeping track of all of that helps you see just how hard you've been working. And it also helps you see, okay, I better make some more phone calls today, or I better be brave and go knock on doors. Dalton's excellent at that. You can knock around your open houses. You can knock around any of our listings. Hey, a fellow at my office has this house listed and just tell some deets on it and be like, hey, what do you love about this neighborhood? Oh, you don't love it? What do you think about selling? Okay, maybe I can help you. Just things like that. It does work out and they see you face to face. It's so much easier than calling blindly. It's freaking cold right now. So that's a thing. But then sometimes I'll even pull up on a house if it has a big dumpster in the front yard. Cause I'm like, you guys gonna sell? What's going on? Or an estate sale or anything like that. Just being creative. Like you said, I knock when it feels good. Like if I'm gonna pull over. And
During my door knocking years, my favorite time, September through March. Guess what? You have the street to yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So Command is helpful for that. That's really fun. I actually use the KW app when I'm out of town. I'm gonna be in Scotland next week, and I believe we have Keller in Scotland. I wonder if it works there. But
Keller Brogue.
Keller broke. So when I go in other states, I actually pull it up and I'll drive through an area, I'll be like, wonder how much these rent price per square foot. I can't help it. I can't shut the brain off, the real estate brain, and you can kind of generally.
Well, that's a killer
guess.
social media post, because then it gets people clicking around on your website.
Yeah,
Like, here's what houses in Scotland are selling for.
yeah, yeah. Guess what this heap sold for? $5. No. So, so it's a lot of fun to get on there and do that. And it would be really nice to see them on your app versus Zillow. So a part of your success system involves social media and other enrichments. There are, like 10 posts a day, write 5 comments a day, send 1 direct message today. You can make yourself a honey-do list or just a checklist, do this every day until it becomes habit. I did have a friend that they hired someone else and I was super angry about it. She goes, I didn't even know you were live. You never post things on social media. So that changed things for me and I definitely got more active and I still don't like it. I still don't like it. I look forward to the day that I don't need to do it. But then at the same time, I love it. It's a love-hate kind of relationship. So study the market center report. I was going to show you that, but I don't know how to put it on the screen.
What is it?
We could even share, so Lauren, we could send out to everyone in the class. Lauren, Chris did like a report of not just market stats, but how Keller compares to the market.
Oh, you guys should automatically be getting that from Chris once a month around 15.
Yep.
I'll
So,
change that.
yeah, but I freaking love that because Chris loves numbers just like Bella. So, visit and hold open houses, study the language of real estate, read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. What else?
Read shift,
Read shit.
call 5 people. Talk about real estate.
Yep. There's some great podcasts, the One Thing podcast. You can listen to those things.
Say read hot seat shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody knows the Big Red Real Estate Bible, but there's another one called Shift.
How
Written-
real estate agents.
Written by the same people. They wrote it when the 2008 crash went live, I guess, and it's got a lot of great like boots on the ground kind of tactics to build your business.
Yep, because you always have to.
It's a book.
It is.
Yep,
Shift.
book called Shift.
Yep.
There's another one called The One Thing. As you're new and you're learning, you can be pulled in a million directions and it'd be frustrating and makes you feel insignificant. I just can't learn all this. Guess what? You don't have to. You don't have to learn all of it. Find your favorite thing and like dive deep into that. That with the systems, you will do very well.
Will you say the name of it?
The One Thing.
Be like the 3 Keller Williams books.
Okay.
If you want to stay up to speed on news, not the news that Jenny hates, but real estate news.
If you guys
Um,
get emails from me, you should have those books in your email. as well.
Okay.
They,
Sure.
you got a link to a PDF of each of the books. That's cool.
There is a podcast called The Hot Sheet.
Oh,
Byron Lazine, member of the Broke Agent Media, BAM, if you've seen that on social. But the Hot Sheet, it runs it every morning. And it is real estate only. He's a realtor. He's probably more of a media celebrity at this point, but that's a great breakdown and it's 15 to 30 minutes.
okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything I talked about so far? Okay. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. Just remember list track.
The eyes are open. It's good.
Yeah, remember list track. Come to Ken's class. It's an assignment you must. And then you really, really need to come to the market updates. I look forward to it. I can't think of another brokerage that explains it so well. And it's just fun. You'll see agents in here you've never seen and they're not from our brokerage and they come.
This one on Thursday is on Zoom, but we will stream it here, but after that, Marcus will come in and do one for the Davis Weaver County as well.
Yes. Okay. So
The market update that we're talking about, regional.
love it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, 6:37.
We take a little.
Take
backward
five,
break.
take 5 or 10 minutes. I think we can, yeah, let's pick it up. It's. I'm pretty good at the value thing. I don't need the whole time. So yeah, let's pick it up at 6:45. We'll crank back into it, okay?
I missed some of it and I'm so sorry, but. Got the big stuff. The numbers matter. How to communicate them. You will learn how to do that at the market update. Yeah, if you wanted us to role play. Yeah. Like a free.
I would say 4 hours course.
Work from me to one. I hope that was okay. Perfect. Perfect. I want me to email you that staff thing that Laura sent me, and share to everyone.
Yeah, that would be good.
I really want coffee, but I know, but guess what? I woke up at like 3 last night
This was in.
and then 4 and then 5.
So badly.
All of us that chooses this one right before this class. Yeah. Jeez, so the focus was.
Something that looks like it already happened,
Hey.
but is there something like that happening now?
Is it all right?
But
The daily success, it's
I
what.
don't know this, whatever this is.
That's the takeaway.
What are your,
Yeah,
Don't
we were
feel
doing
good.
that. We'll do it that.
okay,
We
So
got
it's like a
fired
whole
in the
new
same. We switched that voice
And now it was all forcing commercial data. I was gonna tell you.
No, I'm in.
Can you upgrade on front end? So if you wanted to do like on paper for it, if you're busy, or you just can't do anything. Market cap. If you have time. Bill down with all. I know. But now you're like. Now you're. But if you're on, I feel like at work, you can do it. You can.
I'll send it your airdrop on.
Either lose deal or.
Yeah.
do the paperwork. I'll call and say, hey. Like.
Is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I will update.
So I mean, 50% of the deal. is the-
You want me to come over there?
Yeah.
And they'll just do all their work.
I don't think I need to be closer.
Like, you have to have like.
Make them look sick and love, so there were records.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm not.
And then let me know a little area. I know. And so what I did when I.
But you gotta type out the, like your county, if they're like, you do this, you're like,
This is just the wrong, maybe what they do.
have a great. Unless, so you probably snack. The buyer broker agreement. Yeah, so.
Hey.
yeah, and then it's.
Yeah, it's nice that we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just because like a lot of the numbers were a lot of the things. I think
Yeah.
that's another thing.
Yeah, let's start with that. Remind me, you were.
Luckily.
Barely, like.
But
Like, yeah, just, like, if you don't know.
I think we could do,
They know, they should do like. And
okay,
your team.
we could do, yeah, right. Too. Wednesday, right? Yeah, yeah, and I was kind of understanding, because mine's like a bowl and there was. That's what she made it seem, she said that. It'll give you the returns that they say. So I was expecting it.
That's one place.
Yeah, no, it's just the one, yeah.
Oh, I did the.
I do, right?
My wife.
I'm so sorry, I was.
Yeah,
I-
I'm
that's
sure
just-
you Like, it's definitely. I remember my, like, anytime they, honestly, those were.
She's making- Super.
Yeah. So I was yeah.
There's a lot of them. I won't take this person. And it doesn't happen.
Dude, we have to finish.
That's great.
Who's full on diving in and who's working in slow. All in.
I was in class. I was getting told by this head.
Oh, yeah.
I was just like, I'm just gonna keep taking credit. I was like, no matter. And I'm still.
It's like your driver's license said, keep taking it until they say it fast.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So I was like, I really wanted to go to it. I really, are you having another class coming up that?
Are you talking about the script class?
Yeah, it's great.
Yep, every morning.
Sweet.
8:59 AM, Monday through Friday.
Sweet. Once I pass that, I'll get around.
Awesome. Be a party then. Okay. Let's fire this thing up. 'Cause I know you have better things to do tonight than to listen to me yak, okay? Recap, well, been introduced, I guess, already. I'm Dalton. For those of you that don't.
We have some
remember.
energy.
Yeah.
I'll let you just take one and pass the box.
Do it. Okay, yeah, I'm Dalton. I've been doing this for 4 years, just started year number 5. I've tried most forms of lead gen. I suck at follow-up and, I've set outrageous goals this year, so if you're scared, I am too. We can all be scared together and it'll be okay. All right? I was told in an email to go over you guys' homework, but I missed the beginning of the class. Did you guys have to go over you guys' homework? Yeah. Okay, so if I say things like add 10 people to your database, complete the one thing, discover my purpose packet, and complete a 411. That sounds familiar? Or is this way off?
The homework was 3 after 3.
Add 3. Come on, you weaklings, let's get to business. Who wants to sell some helms? All right,
Do it.
let's do it. In that case, I'm just gonna make up the homework tonight. All right, let's go. I'm gonna talk to you about value. And I follow the course as much as I have to. So before we jump into that value proposition, we're gonna talk about what those are. we're gonna talk about what matters to buyers and sellers. We'll talk about defining your value proposition. And we'll call it a night. All right? This is an interactive class. Please just ask questions as we go. And try to make this as much fun as possible so you're not sleeping. Okay? Questions?
Sounds good.
All right, let's roll. What's the difference between value and price?
Prices is set.
Price is
on
what?
the- It's set price on the home, the values of the market value.
This is harder. Jenny, I'll let you answer if nobody else can.
Value is what you're willing to pay.
Say it louder.
Value is what you are willing to pay.
Ooh, okay. Okay, that's in the vein. Any other shots at it, the difference between the two?
What it's worth,
What it's worth?
what it's valued, it's worth.
Everyone's value is different.
Value is therefore what?
It's like
Subjective.
your.
Objective. Value subjective, okay?
Can I give you an example of-
Please.
I had, a buyer that I was hoping to pretty much came to my open house.
Mhm.
And, she said that she had a realtor friend that would offer a tiered service of the buyer. And I'm like, really, that's interesting, I want to hear this. We said for $1,000. So the buyer had to go through the open house, and it's not, for $1,000, that agent was going to write up the offer form for her to do that. And so she was talking to me about it, she was talking to me about this deal that's around the corner, and I said, why in the world wouldn't you want your agent to be paid? If she could represent you fully. I said, we literally have a fiduciary duty like lawyers. And I said, you literally signed up for a McDonald's realtor experience. And I said, but she's supposed to she has to go to bat for you. And I said, and right now, you know, she told me she's being raked over the coals in the inspection process and everything like that. I said, your realtor would have negotiated your commissions, her commission on your behalf. I said, because it started in August, so we have to negotiate that. That's only come up once. And that's when I'm closing tomorrow, they were only giving me 2%, but I want more. And I said, so you negotiated in, and if you can't, you negotiated in the closing costs somehow. So you as a buyer should have the fullest representation that you deserve. And like, it didn't cross your mind. That's the difference between price and value. It's huge. So.
But frame that into perspective, since I'm gonna guess. One of you in here has ever written a rep C? Basically, what that agent did was charge $1,000 for 30 minutes worth of work. That seemed ethical, logical, or valuable to anybody?
It's impossible to hold your fiduciary duty too, and that, those will get you in a lawsuit, I guarantee, and it's terrifying to.
Yep.
Even have that word thrown towards you.
So value is worth in usefulness or importance to the possessor, i.e. subjective, right? Whereas price is the cost at which something is obtained. Right? So they're often used interchangeably, but price and value are two different concepts, two different entire constructs. All right? You as a real estate agent, fiduciary, are a fiduciary. That's a large part of the value you bring, though I would say since every agent is required to sign agency and act as a fiduciary, that is the baseline for us as agents. Right? So we already gone over fiduciary, you know what that means? No? Raise your hand if you could tell me. Okay, all right, well, let's back up for a quick second. What's a fiduciary?
You go above and beyond, and you're protecting them, not just looking out for yourself and doing the base.
Yeah, right on target. Your interests come second to the clients. The client's interests come first. Okay, and there's 6, golly. I'm not even gonna embarrass myself to try and get them all.
You know what
There's-
you can do?
It's written right, it's written right in the buyer's the agency agreements, both listing and buy side. So I have them written there. I always highlight them. I could probably, if you wanted to watch me stumble, figure out what the 5 or 6, there's 6 defined listed characteristics of a fiduciary, responsibilities of a fiduciary are for our clients. But if you're gonna be signing people up as their agent, you better know them and understand them and what it is that we do. Other fiduciaries, she mentioned, lawyers, financial planners, etc. Okay. So. But again, I will make the argument that since everybody has to sign that paperwork to represent somebody in the state of Utah, that's the baseline. Everybody's a fiduciary legally, right? So what are you gonna do to convey your value? Why is it, let's start there. Why is it important to be able to convey your value? Explain it.
Well, I can give an example, like a school example today.
Let's go.
So today we went to the state capitol and took our student government. We met with the legislation that voted on a bill yesterday that, and we were talking to him, he was like, well, Utah we are the lowest, like 50 state that we send for our weighted people per person, like we spend per person student wise. But we
Okay.
are ranked 23 in the nation for like when they tax, right?
Okay.
And so we told the legislator, well, that means
Bang for the buck. huh?
that, talk about your teachers, right? So you vote things that you don't value teachers, but yet you're ranked 23rd and you spend the least amount in the whole nation. So that has to say something about the teachers that are in the classroom,
So we teach you to bring in some value.
some value. And he
Okay.
literally was like, well, that was not one of my talking points. Anyways, he didn't know what to say, but it's kind of like
Good.
that, like, that
Go
is
back.
like,
Yes, what you're doing right there is negotiating or advocating, that's the word I'm looking for the value that you bring to your profession, okay? As a real estate agent, you're going to have to stand in front of somebody or sit and say, Mrs. Seller, I am gonna sell your home and I'm gonna charge you X percentage or flat fee or whatever, because of course, that's not a fixed anything and we can all choose how to run our business. But I'm gonna charge you X. And in general, that's gonna be thousands of dollars. So do you think it's important to be able to explain to Mrs. Seller why it is that you're worth tens of thousands of dollars to sell her home?
Yes.
That can be a pretty pivotal conversation. What do you think? Do you want to get that contract signed? Okay, that right there is the illustration as to why knowing your value is important and being able to communicate it equally important, all right? One of my favorite quotes of all time is price only becomes an issue in the absence of value. I can charge whatever I want, and if I can convey that my value is worth the price that I charge, nobody's gonna bat an eye. Think about that for a second, okay? So, we'll do a little Gary here tonight. Your value proposition. How we go about explaining our value, proposing our value is a unique, memorable, and persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you, right? It addresses the specific and special needs of the buyer and sellers in your market and states what you will do for your client to earn your commission. And it holds you accountable to high standards. Nobody ever thinks about that part, your value proposition, what I tell you I'm going to do. Assuming you set a high standard for yourself, it keeps you at a high standard. If you don't have any standards, that's another conversation for another night. But I will say it does very directly affect your value proposition. Any questions on that particular page? Comments, thoughts? Okay.
Well, what sets you apart from other agents if everybody's a fiduciary?
There's
What,
so much.
why are you? Different?
Because when you work with me, we know what we're doing. Sorry, we know what we're doing, and when you work with me, you're gonna know what we're doing too. I operate on 3 Cs: communication, certainty, and convenience. And really, I'm answering your question directly. When somebody says that, I would go, well, lots of different things. Tell me, what's important to you about a real estate agent?
Definitely communication and trust.
Okay,
That's like being able to talk and then also believing that what you're saying is reasonable and works for me.
so whether you're a buyer or a seller in my programs, you are a part of what I call my 10 YTT, your total transaction commitment to communication, and that the first day we're under contract through the 10th day, you're gonna hear from me every single day. So that way you know what's going on. Does that sound good?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's go. Sign here, press hard, 3 copies, right?
And I'm sure there's people who aren't really interested in constant updates. They want to be able to say, hey, I want someone who I can
There's
just sit back.
definitely some people who are like, hey,
We're-
only the headlines, man. I don't need to know all the details. But that's part of your qualification. Sit down with the buyer or the seller. But that gets into how you work with that individual. Right? Good question. Top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. Isaiah, I assume when you buy a home, you want to save as much money possible, right? Not a trick question.
Sure.
It's not a trick question. Okay, yeah. Money in your pocket is good when you're the buyer, right?
Sure.
Okay, it's also good in your pocket when you're the seller, so take that down, right? Doesn't matter which side you're talking about, people want to put the most money in their pocket. So then it would make sense if we put together a strategy together where we use my technology and process and your qualifications and timeline and and build a game plan where we get you where you want to go with the most money still.
Definitely.
Okay, great, let's do that. The benefits of a value proposition helps your clients understand your value and expertise, protects your commission, and builds stronger and trusting relationships. Strong and trusting. No matter what market you're in, you're gonna have to defend your commission if the value isn't there. Sometimes you're gonna have to defend it even when the value is there, oddly enough, okay? But if you are confident, capable, and can convey what it is you do, the value that you bring specifically to your clients, the question of commission becomes less frequent or less troublesome, right? Price is only a concern in the absence of value. So, some examples. Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable. Walmart, everyday low prices for a broad range of goods that are always in stock in convenient geographic locations. Slack. Slack makes it downright pleasant to work together. That's a value. I hate the program as well. It makes no sense to me, but that's a banger of a value proposition, right? Oh my gosh. I hate working with these idiots, but these guys say it's gonna make it pleasant. Let's go. Right? By the way, I'm a little inappropriate. I apologize. I don't intend to offend. State Farm, here to help life go right. What does insurance do? What value does insurance bring you? We're here to help life go right. That's a good one. I am a fan of the concise. What's that?
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the concise. You lose me as you start, as you start adding commas. I'm one of those millennials. 3-second attention span. So. Connecting to your value. Lots of ways that you can connect to it, right? Number one, being that you're all agents with less than 6 months experience, right? All right, so you're new agents. I have never sold a home, or I'm under contract with my first one. How do I possibly tell somebody that I'm good at this if I've never done it? You baffle them, you shine them. What do you got?
How you're part of the top real estate company, at the top real estate office in the whole state. So, and your team that you have in your corner, just keep playing on that. You know, it is really about those behind you at the office. They are your team, so you can talk about your team.
You're a part of the team at KW. And we've won Best in State 6 years running. Here on the Northern Wasatch, I haven't looked at the recent numbers, but generally speaking, we crush. Yeah, so feel free to use the office numbers is what I'm driving at. If you need numbers to show how good you are, because we're all different and how we want to convey that, you know. My office and I beat the average days on market by 11 days or 28%. Is it important to you to sell your home quickly, Mr. and Mrs. Home Seller? Oh, it is. Okay, great. Looks like we'll be a good fit. Right? So you use your market center. We just covered fiduciary, so I'm gonna be like, and fiduciary and move forward, right? It is a thing, but it's a baseline. It's not gonna differentiate you. Yeah.
So I put AI. I asked, what are the fiduciary duties of real estate agent? And it spit them out. And then I asked for each fiduciary to do a breakdown of what that meant. And so I did that on each one, and I created reels out of them.
Love it.
That did help me.
That's great social content.
So you need to learn about something with fiduciary, to explain it to people. And do a dive deep with AI. That stuff's awesome.
Yep. And then also market expert, which we just kind of went over the ways that we can do that. Any questions on how or why that's a relationship builder for value? Makes sense, right? Somebody sits down and talks with you, and you're able to answer their questions with solid market data. You're going to be building value in their eyes, whether you like it or not.
Okay, I have a question.
Let's go.
Maybe Jenny can. So because you're talking about value, right?
Mhm.
Let's say you are representing the buyer and Jenny's representing the seller.
Sure.
Okay? How can you guys, being co-workers in the same group?
Yep.
Can just kind of like advocate each other. And it seems easy, but at the same time, you know, it's like, well, we lower the price. You're looking after your seller and you're looking after a buyer. You're saying like, well, they found stuff in the inspection. Can they pay more? You know? I don't know. I just kind of want to get your input and how you, I don't know, how would you deal with a situation like?
I love working with agents that I like. And it's not because we're shoving and we give each other secrets, it's because we're respectful to each other. And achieving what our client wants. And we always find a win-win situation. So you know, when I'm making an offer on a home or I see offers come in, I'm like, oh, I've worked with that agent before. This should be pretty pleasant. And when I first started, one of the best words of advice I got is never throw sand in the sandbox. Be nice. And if you listen to the agent on the other side, you can generally get a feel for how they function within the first 5 minutes. If they're stiffy, just don't engage. The last one who speaks wins. But for the most part, I would say 90% of the transactions I have, the agent on the other side is pleasant. You just gotta know what you're working with.
Yeah, very common misconception in real estate is that it's a fight or it's a battle. And it's not. When you're a co-agent with another agent, i.e. you're representing one side of the table, they're representing the other, it's your fiduciary responsibility to help get the deal done. Obviously for your client's interests, but there's complex conversations to be had. Like, yes, there absolutely is. The gutters are leaking, and so they would need to be repaired. That's something that could happen. The sellers are saying they are not going to do it. they put it in the listing that the house is being sold as is, so they're not willing to negotiate. You know, is it worth it to you to skip buying the entire house over something small like that? And if it is, okay, if it's not, okay, right? Helping. Our job is, is to be professional mind maker uppers for people. We help people make up their mind. If you can do that at a high level, you will have a good business and you will have people who trust you and place value in you, which means they're willing to pay you, which is how you then, you know, feed your family. That makes sense? It all comes together. And what she said is correct. Absolutely. One of the biggest pieces of value I bring to my clients is my ability to bulletproof a transaction, starting with typically understanding that other agent and what to expect in that transaction. Doesn't matter which side I'm on. One of the first things I'll go do is go take a look at what that agent has done in production. I want to know if they actually do this, or if they've only done one transaction in the last 12 months, especially the last 12 months. There's a good chance they don't have a clue the new paperwork that we're using or the new rules under the new settlement, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to be way out in front of them having that discussion, so that way it's easier on my clients to get to the finish line. Okay, numerous other things.
You guys will get to take classes on body language, their tone fluctuation and everything. That's part of my value proposition. I say I listen like Dumbo. I listen like Dumbo, I listen to the fluctuation of the voice, the pauses, things like that. Just really learning how to make the other side show you their cards as much as possible. And then keep your mouth shut on behalf of your client until it's necessary.
Okay. Purpose of real estate. I think it's supposed to say agents. All right, so talking about buyers and sellers, because is it possible that your value proposition changes from buyers to sellers?
Definitely.
Like what? Give me an example.
I mean, it probably depends on what they want. So their interest in taking time to find something very specific or moving immediately. I don't know, there's probably a lot of different things it could be. That's
Do buyers want to pay the most money or pay the least money?
buyers want to pay the least money
And what do sellers want?
the most money.
Okay. So. There's one of many different things that are different between buyers and sellers. And therefore, it would track that you'd want to make your value proposition geared towards the audience to with whom you're speaking. There we go. English, only my first language, give me a break. All right, so their goal is to find just the right home at the best price in the right time with the least number of problems. Seller's goal is to net the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time with the least number of problems. Do you see something that both of those include? Okay, so at a baseline, your value to your client is helping them avoid problems. If you want to just start there, that's a great place. What can you do at a high level to help them avoid problems? And then explain it to them. Okay. You guys have 99% sure you guys have this in your binder, in your book. So I'm not going to dwell on every single one of these, but the nice part is the National Association of Realtors does surveys annually, and 99% sure that's what this comes out of. But they ask our clients, potential clients, our consumer base, what's important to them as a buyer. And therefore we can turn that into the value proposition we present to them, right? Same with sellers. What buyers want most from their agents. Help find the right home to purchase. This is 2021. It's getting to be the edge of out of date, but curious, agent to agent, how much time, how much do you spend? Do your clients hunt on their own, or are you sending them properties? Like percentage wise,
I would say,
30% you?
yeah.
Yeah.
because they're already digging before they call you.
And of course, when we sit down, I ask, how are we gonna find this home, right? What are you using? We build a game plan with every client that I sit down with, but it, like. I go hunt, not like 10% of my clients generally. Because they know what they want. They have access to almost literally everything I do from the MLS perspective. And we get started, there's no reason for me to launch a direct mail campaign to the entirety of Weber Davis County to try and find that off-market property if we find something that they like on market, right? So that's kind of like start one. But where I get my buyers to sign with me is because I have a process for finding homes if that program doesn't work. Okay,
Negotiations, is the biggest part.
negotiation is the best part of real estate. It's my favorite. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can add value. These are the ones that they're looking for. Factored, they factors buyer's value when choosing an agent. Other, so be strong in the other category. Thank you, I'm glad somebody gets me. All right. What sellers want most from their agent. Help pricing the home, help sellers market the home, right? Your marketing plan. Help sell the home within a specific time frame, right? Meet a deadline. Help seller find ways to fix up the home to sell it for more. Got a background in contracting or interior design? Hey, there's a value you could add to your client as their, I mean, it's a great way to get the foot in the door. So you're thinking about selling? Okay, yeah. So would it be helpful if you had like a list of things in your home that would be worth fixing versus not worth fixing? Cool. When should I stop by and take a look? And then I can whip that up for you. Right now, you've already got eyes on the property and you're one step closer to the listing point. Right, I'll get this whipped up, and then when I come back, we'll talk about what it's like to sell a house. And if it makes sense, you know, you can just hire me right then and there. Cool. All right, let's go. Don't make it too complicated. Sorry, Jenny, you had your hand up.
I was just gonna say, sometimes, you know, you don't wanna throw a price out over the phone before you come in the home.
Or no.
Ever do that. You see their home, and you need to really listen for what the sellers really needs, because sometimes it's the situation, sometimes it's not the price. I had a client that they never fixed a darn thing in their house since they bought it 7 years ago.
I just toured that home on Sunday, not yours, but another one.
I was like,
30 years in the house and it is trash.
it's trashed, and this one, they literally duct taped the sewer line. There's all kinds of stuff. So
That'll buff out.
what I did is I ran numbers and I didn't tell them, hey, this is what we're gonna list for. I said, this is what you're going to net. If we sell this home cash to an investor, this is what you'll net if you put it on the market as is. And this is what we'll net if we put 30,000 into it. You know, all those scenarios, so that they could choose the direction that was most comfortable to them. They ended up selling to the investor because it felt embarrassing, you know? And so we went snagged them this beautiful home that did a dang bit of work. So look for that too. It's not always the price. Sometimes it's convenience and what that's all.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so how do we build a value proposition? This is your unofficial homework. We're gonna identify knowledge, attitudes, skills, and beliefs that you already have right here today that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent. Somebody give me an example of something that you're good at, don't be shy, that you think would translate well into real estate.
I did customer service for 7 years, so I think that.
So you know how to interact with people, you know how to talk to them.
Kind
Okay, you were the email customer service. Then, all right, you know how to write a sweet email. What's that?
I said I was work from home, so I was very like, I'll help you with whatever you need, but.
Anybody else? What else we got? Organized? Yeah. Yeah, is that at all important when you have 7 transactions going? What hasn't gotten done? So you're my checklist guru. Build the system, in real estate, we use the buzzword systems. It's a checklist generally, right? But it's brutally important when you get busy. We all can handle the one-off. But once that momentum comes and you have 7 transactions rolling, if you don't have the systems, you're gonna be a bit distracted. And definitely not doing your lead gen. Speaking from experience. So. Other things. Loyalty.
I think loyalty is probably one of my favorite ones.
Mhm.
I had the listing I had up in Eden, and I had this unrepresented buyer come through, and my seller was okay with doing a limited agency. I hated it. But the buyer kept saying things like, blink once for yes and twice for no. I kept trying to get my face to crack, and Dave, you're good. I'm neutral. I am 100% neutral in this
Okay.
transaction. That one did not go through, thank God. And then I just told my client, I didn't like it. I couldn't do my Dumbo magic and listen to the other side and really trust my intuition. I can guide them in any way. I hated it.
Yeah.
So, because I am die-hard loyal to my person.
Yep. I mean, Utah's a state where you can do limited agency. And some agents will do it, and some agents won't.
They haven't learned.
Oh, you can represent both the buyer and the seller in a transaction.
Instead of lawyers, you're a
Yeah.
mediator.
It's legal to do, and some agents will do it, some agents won't.
But you know what's better? Is I could refer it to an agent in the office and be like, hey, you need to give me a 25% referral. That's better.
There you go. Transform your value, sorry, did we finish that up? Yeah. Knowledge, skills, beliefs, attitudes, so what you're going to do is think about your individual backgrounds and say, okay, what am I good at? And we all have at least, one thing. I have one. And so how do I apply that to real estate? Because real estate has a million things that you can do and be good at. So that's I would call that kind of the very easiest way to start driving towards building your proposition. Transform the value you provide and the value of KW and your market center into benefits for your clients. So this is the big one. Those of you sleeping, go ahead and perk back up for just a minute. When an agent sits down and goes, last year I sold 12 properties. So what does that client immediately want to know? What does everyone else do? And or what impact does that have on the client? Right? Well, maybe not. But what I did was I told you something about myself. Do people care more about themselves or about other people? And let's be honest. There we go. So you take the things you're good at, you apply them to where you think they would be beneficial in real estate, and then you have to explain how that benefits the person that's going to pay you. Because if you don't connect the dots, the value doesn't get built. And I say that with emphasis because been in sales of some form since like 20 something years. And I can't tell you how many sales presentations I've listened to where it's a giant a display of arrogance that they think is selling, and nobody's moved to do anything for 2 reasons. The number one is they don't connect the reasons why this matters to the people listening. And then the other one is they don't ask for the business at the end. Fascinating. You guys want to have fun? Come to the team meeting. watch the sponsor get up and be like, we do this, and then they just walk off. They don't ask you for any business. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen. That's another class. Okay, anyway. Benefits, you have to connect the dots. Our daily objective is that you're not overwhelmed or underinformed through the process. Proper coaching increases worry-free transactions. Why is that good? Do you want to be worry-free? Yeah, right, absolutely.
I closed a deal that even at the inspection time frame would go right on by. I represented the seller. And he let everything flow right on by, because he didn't have coaching.
Yep.
And
The best surprise in real estate is no surprise, and we systematize risk mitigation in all aspects. As I keep reading my own book here, this actually isn't a good example of what I'm trying to teach you. Let me find something. Oh, man.
what is it again?
This is just marketing material that I make out of my own UVP. But I'm not, I need to go back and rewrite it with the benefit to the consumer. Frankly, so
It's just bragging.
it's just bragging. It's my brag sheet, bro. Okay, so we're gonna build them, right? 1, 2, and 3, build your value propositions. So we're gonna think about something that you're good at, how it could apply to our real estate career, and how we can explain to the end user, the consumer, the benefit to them. I was in multi-million-dollar sales in the construction industry before this. So when I sit down with somebody who wants to go buy multi-million-dollar homes, it's numbers. It doesn't matter to me how big it is. I'm not the least bit intimidated. And that's a benefit to them because agents are. People are scared to ask for things when there's big numbers involved. So generally speaking, that means I'm going to negotiate well on their behalf. This is not my first day. As an example. I can help clients find homes that are not on market because I have a system for that. And what that means for them is that potentially they could save money because they don't have to compete. If it's like a competitive price point, what if we found you something off market so we can save you money by not having to compete? That's something you're interested in? It is. Okay, let's go. Does that make sense? How you got to tie it? You got to tie your benefit, your skill set, your value only becomes valuable if you can explain how it affects them, because we all care about us, right? Individually.
Mine is somewhere around that. It's my relationship with you is not just a transaction. I'm looking to be your real estate partner for the rest of your life.
Totally.
So, that's kind of what I do.
One-stop shop for everything living related. Right? Why is that a benefit to you? Well, you know how sometimes on Google, there's lots and lots of 5-star reviews and you go, could they possibly have that many? And you go, oh, no, actually, those can be bought. So now you have somebody you can call when you need that bathroom remodel contractor. I have people who I know will do a good job. And you're all brand new, so do you have people?
Yeah. Your people.
My people, right? Per
Yeah.
people. There's solid block of 50 agents in this brokerage who do enough business and are busy enough, have enough experience to have a list. Don Yankee, El Capitan, he has a company that does that sort of stuff.
I've used it twice this year.
Okay, you have real tangible endorsements from people that you can trust. That alone is one of the biggest values you can bring your clients. When I'm calling people, I'm not calling them to see if they want to buy or sell. In my SOI calls, how can I help you today? Got some landscaping you need something done on, plumbing project, need a good painter. Who's your favorite dentist? Whatever.
All right, another thing shares. Before we even hit the market, we share listings that we have coming up and when and where, ballpark price building. And we have buyer needs too. So like if you have a a buyer or a seller, somebody needs it, quite often it can line up before it even hits the market.
There's one of the many sources you can find off-market buyer or off-market properties for your buyers. Because they haven't hit yet. Okay? It's a lot. I know it's drinking from a fire hose. Who's overwhelmed?
It's a lot.
Couple of you, okay, okay, don't be, it's all just one step at a time, right? What are you good at? What are you good at? How does that correlate? And if you need to talk with somebody, you got a bunch of us that'll happily sit down and work it out, but I don't know what your official homework is, because apparently the email I got is, behind or ahead or something. I think Allison's still around, I think she's gonna give you the homework, but your unofficial homework from me is to do this, because it's part of getting the business. And at the end of the day, do I love serving people? Yes. Do I love the crazy happy first time home buyer when we get it done? Yes. Do I love say my more experienced customers gobs of cash because we're good at bringing the right offer and negotiating hard? Yeah, whatever it is, you don't get to any of that if you don't get somebody who sees your value. So I teach this class every time because I believe in it. It's a cornerstone. So go write your own. Happy to edit or review.
Work during the day, you work during the day. I suggest get to know some of the people at the office, find someone that you can partner with. So if you didn't have a buyer and seller you're working with, if you're not available, find someone who can back you up and help you out, and return the favor. I've got people that if I'm not in town, I can call them. They'll help me no problem, and vice versa. Even we're a family here. I totally help you out. Don't ever think you have to do it on your own. If you feel like you need to be on your own, you do have some really good teams. I believe there's $20. There's a coaching program that Allison teaches. And right, still doing the coaching
here, yeah.
I encourage you to do that. I didn't have that when I started.
I didn't either, which is why I do it now.
Right. That's really, really bad habit. So while you're doing it, get the right habits. And just lean in and know that we all go through hard stuff and we all have joys and sorrows in this country.
And we all want to reinvent the system and the model, but really if you just follow them. Don't reinvent it. Sweetheart. Keep it simple, sweetheart. There is, I know Dalton talked to you about BAM, right? He talked to you guys about the BAM hot sheet.
You mentioned a
Occasion video.
podcast.
So, a podcast. Every day, that comes out every day, it's about 30 minutes. I would use that resource. And then another resource that I love that I don't know if you mentioned because I wasn't in the room is Mortgage News Daily. That's an app you can download on your phone and it will tell you every day like what mortgage-backed securities are doing and how they're influencing the market and interest rates. So I love that. I know that Unity's rates are lower than what is advertised on Mortgage News Daily, but that's a really good resource to be able to keep track of interest rates and what the market is doing just in general. I don't have any homework for you, but that I know, and I had Bradley redo some emails for me, but you should get an email with homework in it, which is probably going to have links to those. I think it has a link to the BAM hot sheet and to Mortgage News Daily. Okay, thanks for coming, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. I think we have Tim and Mikkel, and if you guys don't know Mikkel, he is a systems guy. He's got a lot of valuable stuff, but thanks. Hey, Blake, how are you? Allison, today, Denny O. They're $40. I can email you. I did. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Yeah, or buy this for 40, which is what I thought, the print out for context.
It's cool.
I'm gonna check, running, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, we are gonna. And if we are, then I'm gonna call you guys, yeah.
So what?
I didn't, I haven't taught one yet. They did 3 and 4, so. I think know your market and find your value.
Thank you.
My dad lives on there, so I went on the early, you know, and then we have our convention. They're like 17th to the 21st, but people will even help you.
Right there.
So I'm gonna call you or you're gonna call this time too. I have that. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'll be here, because I usually have early days. Okay, find out.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Tomorrow, or no, I'll have it Wednesday and Thursday. So it'll be tomorrow and Thursday, so. And then, I do it at 4 o'clock every day as well. On Monday through Thursday.
So the little picture, that was like, because I know what happens in calendar.
The calendar is updated. Do you get, my coaching calendar or just on it? That's. Yeah. Yeah, it is tomorrow. And then, if you can come on Thursday to have the update, you can do that like from 10 to 11:30. Yeah. So it'll be good. It'll just be on the TV, but it'll be.
Yes.
Give this to them.
What's that?
Who do you give this
So this particular one, like, as part of my buyer's marketing kit.
You have like.
You're welcome to take a photo or whatever.
That you.
Yeah, so you may have heard like, pre-listing packet. I don't know if anybody said that word out loud in front of you before, but like, before I go to a listing appointment, I send a bunch of, I send basically everything. I send my marketing kit, I send the paperwork, I send everything, and I say, hey, if you sit down and review this 20 to 30 minutes before I come, right? It'll make our meeting go faster and be much more valuable to you,
Okay.
right? So that way we can just get right to your questions and help me take what was an hour and a half long to 2 hour long listing appointment and cut it down to 4 minutes. Cause I go and, have them tour me the property and then I look, depending on the relationship and the circumstances, but my go-to is, okay, so you've seen all my stuff, what questions do you have? Or should we just get started?
Okay.
And sometimes I've had them say, let's just get started. Okay, perfect, paperwork, let's go.
Cause you've given them information already.
And people, I'm high C, I like to make all of the details, all of the numbers, I measured 28 times before I cut, just to be sure, right? And I had to realize very quickly that I talk people to death. Because the way I show my expertise is by telling you all of the things I know.
Yeah.
So I have to build my approach around asking questions. And like, give them the chance to study as much as they want. And I will have engineers or, the other high Cs like me who have been through everything and have not, highlighted and sticky notes and all that stuff. And so that one will take, it's just a matter of fact. It's just gonna take longer because they wanna go through everything. And I'm fine because I know it all forward and backwards and ready to go. But somebody proposed the idea to me. I was like, that's crazy. Nobody would sign a listing agreement without asking me a single question. It's happened twice. We're just like, let's go. They don't question commission or anything. It's just done.
And they probably have got enough, well, they've gotten enough information for you, or you're referred by somebody that they trust too.
And referrals are just starting, so that's not all too often, but yes, one of the times was where they just were like, let's sign the paperwork and move forward, was a referral. I just helped their kids buy their first home. And they wanted to talk to me about listing, and I walked in and said, so you went through everything, what questions do you have? And they're like, really nothing. I was like, okay, so let's just get started then. They're like, cool.
Yeah.
It was the craziest thing I've ever.
And it's your person. You're down to earth and just.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was your name?
Melina.
Melina,
Nielsen.
pleasure.
Nice to
Nielsen,
meet you. Yes.
like the homes? How do you spell it?
Close, Nielsen,
Nielsen.
but I
Nielsen.
know the Nielsen homes.
Do you know
Yeah,
those folks?
So, yeah, they're such good people.
They
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And they build good homes.
Yeah,
I don't have tons of experience selling the new homes, all of my transactions. Yeah, I've been, resale.
have they?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I've done a new home for a client and, but being in the business for 4 years, you just hear people anecdotally talk about different home builders and it's anecdotes, but I've never heard anybody negative about Nelson Homes. So just by the sheer anecdotal evidence, Nelson have built great homes because nobody whines about them.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they're super good
agree.
people.
Yeah,
Even during the pandemic when it took zero skill to sell a home at all.
Yeah.
Cause there was 28 buyers ready to pay over ask and all that sort of stuff. A lot of those builders, said, well, we're not paying agents. Mhm. Nilsson did not, and they paid a full 3%, the entire time. They did not go back. They value agents and
Yeah.
their actions actually
Yeah.
back it up.
I'm
So,
gonna take a screenshot. of
if you'd
that.
like, yeah, please, by all means.
Screenshot that.
Yep, take a photo and there's a backside to it if you wanna.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Can we do well, you have a group, but is somebody always doing your open houses or?
I do most, open houses has been a key part of my business for years, for my 4. So, but it's not just show up 10 minutes before, sit down at the kitchen counter, hang out and play on my phone and then get up and leave. But right afterwards, it's that book Shift that I mentioned.
Yeah.
It has a 7-level open house. If you want to study how to do it right, that's the way to do it right.
Yeah,
And so,
I've done 2 open houses.
How they
for
going?
house and
Oh.
same home, but.
okay,
When I describe it to my parents or anybody that is not in real estate, they're like, oh, and we think it's so boring, but I loved it.
well, it doesn't matter what they think, you're the one doing it.
I was like, well, I loved it. I had a great time.
Okay,
But,
good.
But one of the times we only had like one person show up, one
Yep.
family.
Oh, yeah,
The other time. Because, yeah, or something.
okay,
So still not a ton, but I think that it was not advertised as much as it maybe should have been or something.
sure.
So how, sorry, you probably won't
Please,
be-
it's okay, no worries.
how do you advertise it? Just on MLS or do you put it on your Facebook? Or
It's gotta go on the MLS.
Oh, well, yeah, of course, sorry.
Well,
yeah,
no,
of
I
course
mean,
not,
I
but-
mean, it doesn't, it's not legally, you don't legally have to.
Yeah,
But yes, whoever's, and bear in mind, I don't sell nearly enough homes to do open houses in my own listings every weekend. So I do them for a dozen agents here.
okay,
But yes, I want it on the MLS because then it goes out to all the IDX sites, so the people who are Zillow, all the right,
Oh,
all
yeah,
of them, right? So,
yeah.
so